like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
Tranquility Base, the aliens have landed. Get your space weapons ready. The aliens have landed. And they landed in all places. Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now the media is telling us aliens have landed. Just like we just recently shot down UFOs. Maybe they're mad and they landed in Las Vegas to get some revenge on us. We're going to take a look at this, and we're going to take a look at this footage. I'm going to give you my spiritual psychic intuition as to what this is all about, whether it's real or not. But in this call, media is telling us that the person is so scared, so afraid. They didn't sound too scared to me. Do they sound scared to you at all? Because they sure don't sound scared to me in this phone call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
So in this first piece of the video that media is showing you in the order that they're showing you, I'm going to show you today. And in the background of this picture, this is where they say, moments before the 911 call came in, this officer caught this footage of this blue light in the background, as you see here. All of a sudden, moments before the 911 call came in of little green men running around that are 8 foot tall in Las Vegas. But seems like nobody got footage of it. Don't you take your cell phone everywhere? Wouldn't that be the first thing that you would grab if you saw aliens in your backyard? Especially if they're 8 foot tall. No way you're going to miss somebody 8 foot tall walking down the street, let alone an alien 8 foot tall walking down the street. So in this footage, if you look closely again at the blue light in the background, the news story I watched said this all occurred right before midnight. But if you look at the actual time of the footage says 6:49 p.m. And the officer is allegedly somewhere else on a different call. And then they claim moments later the 911 call came in. In the next piece, we see the officer who is allegedly the officer who got the call about the aliens that are set loose in Las Vegas and was sent to go check it out. And listen to him and how nervous, and he's got butterflies in his tummy.
No, I'm so nervous right now. I have butterflies, bro. I've only thought of shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
Now, if we look at that timestamp is May 1st at 7:57 p.m. That was over an hour after the call came in. Well, not even the call, because we really don't know what time the call actually came in. We only know the footage of the first thing with the blue light in the background, which may not at all be associated, because they didn't tell us that blue light fell in the area where this person's backyard is. All we see is a blue light that could easily be fireworks, a flare, or just any old thing, even a meteor coming down. It didn't look like no spaceship to me. Does it look like a spaceship to you? But the officer's so nervous to go check it out. Over an hour after the alleged call came in. So this is what happens when the officers arrive to the home. You'll notice that they're going to black out part of the footage of the officers allegedly being led into the backyard. And we're told that they are blacking out the footage because the backyard is considered to be private property. Wouldn't you say, hey, can we get permission to show this? And why are they going in the backyard like the aliens are sitting in a chair waiting for them to get there an hour and 10 minutes after the call?
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or
they see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
So again, the first footage comes out at 6:49 p.m. They tell us it's just before midnight. Well, it's just before 7 p.m. according to the timestamp that says May 1st on all this footage. And the second piece of the footage, it's 7:57 p.m. when the officer's nervous. And then the footage of them being at the home and arriving is at 8:04 p.m. And then the officers do their little interview and investigation in just 19 minutes before exiting. And then you see people being asked over an hour and a half later whether or not they saw something falling from the sky because there's little green men running around the streets of Nevada.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky? Yeah. We got a call, and one of my partners actually said that they saw it too. So, if you happen to see any, like I'm not BSing you. If you see any footage? No, like if you see any like little, well, not little in this case. They're claiming 8 to 9 foot tall green beings that were in their backyard. Sounds crazy, but you never know.
Sounds exactly like the movie Invasion from Mars. Little spacemen, except these ones aren't little. And remember, these ones are 8-foot tall green aliens. Now, if you know anything about UFOs and you've studied any of that whatsoever and the true footage and the truth behind it all, there is no description of an alien that's 8 foot tall and green or anything of what they described. There's many different species that we're aware of, but not one that they described. And the blue light falls down and then disappears. Nobody saw it leave. And again, there's absolutely no footage whatsoever other than a blue light and a couple people saying they saw something. There was no investigation. They didn't ask the neighbors, where's their cameras? Because everybody has cameras, especially in their yard, especially in that area. But, there happens to be nothing. At the end of the news broadcast that I watched, somebody sent me, it was quite funny when they claimed that people were claiming that there were SUVs, white SUVs. See, they got that wrong too, because isn't it the men in black that come in black vehicles, not white SUVs driving around in circles through the neighborhood? Maybe perhaps they picked up some of the fallen wreckage is what the news story said. But where are these people that you say that they claimed they saw a white SUV? There's nothing. Nothing but one family and a couple cops that might not even be real as far as we're concerned. But here's how we're going to look at it a little bit deeper. Think about this, friends. There was just a massive, huge, alleged whistleblower claiming about all this stuff about UFOs all of a sudden.
When you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
Only a few months after, they were telling us that the United States shot down a UFO that suddenly couldn't find it afterwards and never told us anything else afterwards. Right after the Chinese spy balloon, then came the UFOs. Now, all of a sudden, they're posing a fake UFO invasion in Las Vegas, trying to bring up and hype up people's fear, trying to hype up the whole idea to make you all believe and accept the fact that UFO aliens could invade us and end up in your backyard. And they're 8 foot tall. And they can step on you and squash you. And if not, they can shoot you with their laser alien guns. My name's Joseph Tittel, and I welcome you to my channel. If you are new here and you did smash that subscribe button, I welcome you to our tribe. Thank you for smashing the like button as well. And a big thank you to all the supporters, members of the communities that make this free content possible for everybody. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. So we got to put all these pieces together. First, going back to the alleged UFOs being shot out of the sky by the United States government, followed by many UFO stories that started popping up all over the place, pushing it in our faces for quite a while. It slightly disappeared. Now all of a sudden we have the huge UFO whistleblower alleged. Because I will tell you that I'm going to put this together for you and just tell you all at the end. So then we have the big whistleblower. All that's happening. And now all of a sudden aliens have landed in Las Vegas, Nevada, in somebody's backyard with a little blue light with some police officers that claim that they saw it. And they probably did see the light for sure. But the rest of it, sorry, folks. You know just as well as I do that there'd be some footage on somebody's camera somewhere. And the whole timeline of the police arriving and such. But it gets even better. If you're familiar with Dr. Stephen Greer, the UFO expert and whistleblower alleged worked with the government and still works with the government whether they admit it or not, he's all of a sudden going to do a National Press Club disclosure at 2.0 because he's done this before. He's going to do this big disclosure this weekend. What's that sound like to me? Sounds like a massive way of introducing the whole UFO theory to people and then getting ready to start pumping us into fear of UFO invasions. If you go back to my predictions in the past, I talked about UFOs being used by the government in acts of war. And I was thinking maybe they'd pop up over in Europe in the war with Russia and UKR. But the more we get into this, it looks like they're going to pose that threat on us, but it's going to be our own government vehicles. You remember, and I remind you that back in 2001, right before the whole 9/11 event, that Rumsfeld went on television talking about 2.3 trillion. You don't just lose $2.3 trillion. Disappeared. Very next day, the accounting office that was figuring all this out was hit by an airplane, and we all know what happened from that point forward. And that whole 2.3 trillion disappeared. Where do you think the money goes? They have been doing this for so long and planning this, going all the way back to the 1950s, Orson Welles and War of the Worlds, and read that and scared the people. That's when they were convinced, the evildoers were convinced that that whole radio thing that scared Americans to death is a great plan to put together. We just need the technology to do so. And they've had that technology hidden from us for a very long time. For every year that we advance in technology, the government itself advances 20 years minimum. So imagine what they have. And how do we know it's not the aliens influencing this all from up above? Who knows? But what I do know is they do walk among us. They are not in someone's backyard right now in Las Vegas. It's just not happening. And that'll come out. But people are going to believe this and go right into the fear. All these amazing UFO sightings that we've all seen online on some of the great channels that give us really good information. You don't hear about that on your local news. All of a sudden, this massive whistleblowers all over your news. And now aliens in somebody's backyard landing from their UFO. Now you watch, friends. You don't even need to be psychic to know that what I'm going to tell you is about to happen. This is going to break out and be crazy. And then the psychopaths, amongst us, not the ones that run everything, but the ones amongst us, the other ones, the smaller psychopaths, are going to feed into this and for whatever, publicity, or it's just because they need attention. And all these stories are going to come out that aren't going to be real. And of course, the government's going to use that to feed more into it. And I would not at all be surprised to see some type of big Hollywood film being released in the near future of a new type of UFO or alien invasion. We've seen it in the movie Independence Day. We've seen it in the movie Invasion from Mars. We've seen it in the television series and movie going back in the 80s, V. So it's been in our faces for quite some time. And they started when I was a kid with E.T., getting us acquainted with the possibilities. And going back to Ronald Reagan, who was the first one to say the only thing that's going to bring people together and every nation together is an alien invasion. Right here, friends.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
And that was going back to the 1980s that Ronald Reagan said that. And then we came up with the Star Wars Project, the United States, if you remember. People don't recall, or maybe you do recall the Star Wars Project, that they said they were putting billions of dollars into this project to build some type of space weapon out in space or on the moon or wherever. And then, they talked about it for a while, and then we never heard about it ever again. After all those billions of dollars of taxpayer money disappeared. You know that they did something with that. Was it a Star Wars program really to defend us from aliens? Or was it a Star Wars program to make us believe we're being invaded by aliens? That's what it is, friends. So they've been building this since the 80s that we know of, because Reagan told us. They told us they took our money. At least they told us they took our money. But what happened to that $2.3 trillion back in 2001? That money disappeared. And I know that Spirit showed me visions that, we know about the smaller UFOs and even the bigger ones that are shaped like V's that we know are government vehicles. But there's ones that Spirit showed me that are bigger than like 3 football fields, half a mile wide. And they're the ones that are going to fly above cities to make people go into fear and have them sit just like in the show V. It's exactly what they're planning. Independence Day and all the ones I just named. So friends, I tell you, do not fear. Do not feed into it. Yes, there are without a doubt aliens amongst us and those that take our skies. But here's one difference too that Spirit shows me between really spaceships, flying objects that are government and human versus those that are alien, is the alien ones move faster, which we probably can't tell because the human ones move fast, but they have the appearing, they show up and then they disappear. The technology that Spirit tells me they haven't quite gotten yet. They're onto it, but they haven't quite gotten it. And when they do that, we're really in for it, flying around, but they can do everything. So don't believe everything is coming from outer space. Yes, there's already proof all over the planet, going back thousands of years, that aliens have been amongst us for a very, very long time. They're not invading because, think about it, if that story is real or was real at all in Nevada, in the backyard, 8-foot aliens, apparently they're harmless. Because if I was an 8-foot alien and I wanted to cause harm, I'd have no problem doing it with humans that are 6 foot or smaller. They didn't pull out a laser gun and shoot them. They didn't do anything. They didn't even get a picture of each other. I bet you the aliens got pictures of us, but they didn't get a picture of them. So to me, don't feed into the hype, because all it is, friends, is a huge hype, a mass way of introducing this. This is a critical part of the evildoers' plan. Some folks are going to scream conspiracy, but we already know that many conspiracies aren't conspiracies any longer. And we've learned a lot about that over the past few years. And I tell you, going all the way back to George Bush saying this:
we have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN.
Their plan has been to issue a NWO for a very long time. They've been pushing it in our face, and that incorporates a one world government, a one world currency, and a one world religion in accordance to their plan. We already see them working hard to collapse the economies so that they can instill their digital currencies in their mark of the beast. What are they going to do to pull off to make us submit to a world government? Think about it, because they've been thinking about it for decades now. The only way to get countries to agree and come together as one world government wouldn't be World War III as people think. It would actually be what Ronald Reagan said. It would be the threat of an alien invasion that it would take to bring all of humanity together. That's their plan. And it's a good plan. We can beat them at their own game simply by getting this information out and letting people know that it's not conspiracy. And when it happens, they need to remember that it's not a conspiracy any longer, that they need to not fear what's actually happening globally, that it's been a plan that's been in place since Orson Welles published War of the Worlds. Let's also take into account Skinwalker Ranch and how popular Skinwalker Ranch happens to be right now. Again, pushing the whole UFOlogy thing in front of our faces and the whole existence, even though the government spent many years and probably millions of dollars studying Skinwalker Ranch way before they let this crew come in and start producing their own show about Skinwalker Ranch. That in itself is a little fishy because we know the government already knows what's there. And once they start to get close to anything, they're not going to show you on television. Not only that, now Skinwalker Ranch is suddenly pushing a new one, the Bradshaw Ranch. And if you've been following me long enough, I've taken you to the Bradshaw Ranch. Not only have I done live video and all from the Bradshaw Ranch, you all saw the UFOs in the background flying around me. Not only that, the whole story, my friends and I having missing time and all of a sudden being sick in bed for 3 days. So there's definitely something out there without a doubt. But again, we got to look at the theory of them pushing all of this in our faces, all at the same time, in a way to ignite fear, because the whole aliens in someone's backyard is going to have people looking out their back windows more and more as soon as they hear this story. So overall, we can say that footage is just another ploy being pushed in our face to get us to accept the possibility of an alien invasion. And I assure you they will pose that threat as time progresses. And this is going to unleash a whole bunch of cuckoo birds with their stories that now mass media is suddenly going to want to pay attention to. They never wanted to pay attention to it before. They never cared before until all of a sudden this year. Because this is the agenda that they want to push down our throats through the movies and through the mass media. Until the next time, friends, I love you lots. Remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you, because you are an awesome human being. Much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and Danke schön.